Gabby, the happy holiday girl. Who says you have to wait until certain times of the year to get to celebrate? When every day's a holiday, we can combat stress and have more opportunities to have fun with our friends and family. Come, celebrate with me, and together we can live a holiday life. Hey, what's going on, holiday lifers? It's your girl Gabby, and today is Korean American Day, a day completely dedicated towards celebrating all the influences and impact that Korean culture has made in our melting pot of America. Guys, I really love culture, and it's one of the reasons I make this podcast is to be able to go around the world and talk about various cultures' holiday celebrations and try to do what I can do to bridge the gap between what's traditionally considered acceptable culture and bridge the gap between mainstream American culture and educate people all around the world on the various cultures and the celebrations that we have to celebrate. Guys, in America, we are a melting pot of so many diverse cultures, which is absolutely amazing. We have Black culture, we have Hispanic culture, we've got Korean culture, we've got Japanese culture. Literally, the list goes on. We've got Nigerian culture, we've got Ghanaian culture. And what's amazing about that is our differences should be celebrated. We should love the fact that God didn't want to create the same type of person, that he continues to create different varieties of people. There are people that have blue eyes and black hair, people that have brown skin and blonde hair. It's absolutely amazing whenever we come together as people, the variations and the unique creativity and perspectives that we allow to be birthed and to come into the earth. So I am so excited to be able to celebrate our first official cultural holiday of the new year with Korean American Day. And to get things kicked off right, you all know that I love to start off our podcast with a bit of holiday inspiration with our daily quotes. So here it is. It is by Thomas Wolfe, and it is this: culture is the arts elevated to a set of beliefs. Once again, culture is the arts elevated to a set of beliefs. And I like that because each one of our various cultures in the world, we are identified by our style of dress, by the way that our language sounds, the beauty, the tonality, the way that we place emphasis on various words. That's artistic and is actually very difficult to duplicate. I don't know how many people that are listening speak multiple languages, but whenever you start to learn and try to speak a different language, you learn quickly that it's not just saying the sounds the best that you can, it's the way that you say the words, it's the emphasis you put on the different syllables that actually allows the meaning to be conveyed. Because you could be saying what sounds like the same word 2 times, but honestly, to the person who's the native speaker, they're going to tell you that you're not saying it right, that what you said was not what you thought you said. And so it's very interesting because that simple language that is difficult for somebody else to duplicate if you're not native to a land, that is culture. Culture can be created, but it is not easily duplicated. And it's wonderful. You cannot fake being a certain culture because there are some things, whether it be TV shows, whether it be a location of a place where people hang out, that only people of a certain culture know about. And if you're a newbie and you want to welcome yourself into a culture, people from a mile away will be able to know, hey, that person's not from here because they don't sound like me, they don't dress like me, and quite frankly, they know nothing about where we do different things, where we shop, how we dress, how we respect our elders or our youth. And it's all those things wrapped up into one, that big burrito, I guess if you want to say, of culture. That is wonderful. And so I really appreciated that quote of the day. I believe that culture is artistic. And so today, I hope you are motivated and inspired by the Korean flair, the Korean culture that is in America. Okay, I don't know how many of you who are listeners right now have been exposed to Korean television shows or movies. Guys, ever since my sister-in-law introduced me to these things, I think that they are fabulous. The artistry, the way that these movies are just so pretty It seems like each one of these shows always has an underlying love theme to them. And they look so different from American television. American television is not as pretty as the amount of artistry, the colors, the way that the people dress, the way they carry themselves, how in Korean television, there's no explicit, as far as I've seen, no explicit content that you can't show a child. And it's very interesting how various things are reserved, intimate moments that we probably see very freely on American television. It's reserved for a couple. It's reserved for privacy, as far as I know. Now, I'm not a master and expert on all things Korean culture, but from what I have been exposed to, it's very nice. Now, I think that what I have seen is more so South Korean culture. I know that there's a major difference between North Korean culture and South Korean culture, but what I've seen of a South Korean culture is very nice. And actually, what's funny is if you ever decide to tune into one of these Korean television shows that I'm talking about, there's always some sort of mythology kind of woven into at least the shows that I've watched. So I've watched a show that was centered around mermaids, and I started this other one that was centered around the nine-tailed fox. And so I thought I would give you this fun bit of information about Korean culture and mythology with their nine-tailed fox. So I went to this website. It's called snackfever.com. I know it sounds so funny, but still, it was a resource. They knew more than I did about mythological creatures. And so that nine-tailed fox I was telling you about, it's called a gumiho. I think that's how you pronounce it correctly. But it is a shape-shifting nine-tailed fox that often takes the form of a human. But despite its unearthly beauty and majestic behavior, this creature has a deadly side. So that was a quote taken from the snackfever.com website. I love, guys, these TV shows, that nine-tailed fox. It is beautiful but it's very deadly, guys, like the quote said. Apparently this nine-tailed fox, if it can resist eating a person for 1,000 years, it becomes a human. And then there's also another version of this nine-tailed fox tale that says that the fox has to eat 1,000 human livers if it wants to become a human. So I don't know whether it be good or evil. It's very fascinating. All the things that we come up with in our cultures around the world, the different stories and silly tales that for some reason, I don't know why we come up with these things. I don't know if it's to scare young children or if it's to provide just more silly entertainment to make the work day go on. I don't know, but I'm intrigued and I'm all for mythology and things like that. So if you have a fun cultural story, mythology that you want to share, please hit me up on social media at A Holiday Life. I love learning about all those types of things, and it's just a fun way to preserve what people used to believe. But you know what's funny, guys? I'm going to give you a silly little story from my own personal life. Guys, this nine-tailed fox in the Korean culture is very beautiful and seductive. Guys, in my family, my great-grandmother had 18 children, yes, and my grandmother was the oldest of all the 18 children. What's funny about it, guys, my great-grandfather was apparently a Mac Daddy, and his nickname in the town was the Fox. This man was so attractive that apparently he could have gotten whatever woman he wanted. So I know that my great-grandmother didn't have her liver eaten out, but honestly, something else fun for you to know, my great-grandmother is still alive. She is 104 years old. So I don't know, maybe something about loving the fox? Maybe it prolonged her life? I don't know. She's still kicking. And what's funny is she actually got coronavirus, but survived it. She was old enough to have lived through the original Spanish flu, so I don't know if maybe there's something in her genetics that allowed her to have more staying power, or maybe, just maybe, because she had all 18 children and she had someone to look after, maybe that prolonged her life. But I thought you guys would like that fun story of my great-grandmother loving her own fox. So I thought I'd give you that fun fact for today. In Korean culture, there is a nine-tailed, beautiful fox that goes around seducing people and potentially eating their livers. Sounds absolutely terrifying, but if you watch some of the actual Korean television shows, you'll see why the nine-tailed fox is a sexy mythological creature. And now it's time for our activity of the day. In honor of Korean American Day, guys, take the time and expose yourself to a different culture today. Even if it's a world of fantasy, download the app on your phone. It's called Rakuten Viki, Rakuten space Viki. Guys, if you go and download this app, you get to watch TV shows from all around the world. And you can see the cinematography and really get a chance to appreciate how beautiful watching TV can be and what pure love looks like without the distractions of being overly sensual. It's nice and refreshing. So if you do get a chance to download the app and watch a television show today, it is free unless you want to pay for no advertisements. Me, I have the free version, but do what makes you happy. One that I recommend, guys, is Legend of the Blue Sea. That is the tale about the mermaid. Wow, that one takes you on an emotional roller coaster like I have never experienced before in my life. I never knew I would be crying so much over a made-up love story. But guys, that mermaid and her man, oh man, it is just, if you're a lady out there and you need just a reason to cry and just refresh your soul and believe in love, check out Legend of the Blue Sea. You will not be disappointed. And so, what do you think? Do you see the artistry and beauty that culture offers? And are you, maybe just maybe, willing to try some kimchi or a Korean television show today? Head on over to aholidaylife.com now for more holiday fun. There you can sign up to receive a free monthly calendar full of fun holiday activities for every day. You can also leave me a voicemail of what you're doing to celebrate the holiday. You might be on my next episode. Also, if you like my podcast, please be sure to subscribe on Apple Podcast, Google Play, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts from. You can follow me on social media by using @AHolidayLife on Facebook, Twitter, and Pinterest, and @AHolidayLife Podcast on Instagram. And for more holiday fun, head on over to my sister podcast, Holiday Trivia, to give my trivia questions a shot. If you get 3 or more out of 5 questions correct, you're well on your way to becoming a holiday lifer. Until next time, keep celebrating the holidays, stay safe, and live a holiday life. I'll talk to you tomorrow.